President Trump's recent executive order is going to change how thousands or hundreds of thousands of federal workers operate. It's called Schedule Policy Career, and it's not a new policy. Do you remember Schedule F? It was introduced in 2020, but it was never fully implemented. Well, it's back under a new name and with new tweaks. This executive order was signed by President Trump on his first day back in office. It aims to strip away job protections from thousands of federal employees that are in their government job that's being called policy influencing. Now, there hasn't been too much more context aside from that, but if you're in a role that's influencing policy in some sort of way, then this could be you. And in the past, when you come into the government, you're new, you're on probation, 12, 24 months, so they can see how you work, see how you perform, and then after that, you get all of your civil service protections. After that, you have the right to appeal. This is one of the protections that so many people enter the government to have. It's not because of the salary, it's because of the benefits, the stability, and the security. So this is all being threatened. Here's the deal. OPM has given agencies a 90-day window until April 20th to identify which jobs and positions should be under this new schedule, should be categorized under this new label. Why? So that they're easily to terminate if they don't align with the president's vision. The rationale from the Trump administration is clear. They're aiming for a leaner and more agile government. Now, in this context, you know what agile means. Agile means that they're able to fire a whole bunch of people that do not fall in line. If they do not fall in line, you're out the door. Also, OPM's memo points to enhancing agency operations through high performance and swiftly dealing with underperformers. However, this isn't just about efficiency. This is really about control. Control of every level of policymaking, policy implementation. That's what this is all about. And once again, what does it even mean to be policy influencing? Initially, a lot of people are thinking, okay, this is the executive. Maybe it's the career level executive. It's the SES. Or is it a GS-15? Is it at the director level at many agencies? Is that what we're talking about? Or could it be a position like this? Starts off $70K a year in DC. Incredibly low salary in this area. Does it include this person too? That's a big question. But where there's change, there's criticism, and critics are ringing the alarm bell. They're saying this is an effort to politicize the entire federal government. Some leaders believe that these moves are designed to weaken the federal government, inflict pain and trauma on those who have values and beliefs different than the administration. So the big fear here is this could undermine the nonpartisan nature of the federal government. Now, some people, maybe you don't belong to the federal government, you've never been a federal employee, so you're looking at this like, well, why shouldn't the government be politicized? And there's a lot of good reasons why it shouldn't. If you look at credibility and trust, look at the CDC, look at the EPA, if they were politicized, they would be tools of a political party. Then you have fair treatment of employees. What if it's been identified that you are left-leaning? Or you have a completely different view of your senior leaders and the president? Does that mean you should keep your job? Are you not following orders, or are you moving slower because of your political ideology? Is this grounds for termination? Could it be? And then there's stability. Government agencies, they're implementing long-range plans. They span multiple administrations. It doesn't just stop and end with one. Now, when the president changes now, or usually every 4 years, the political appointees, they'll be shuffled out. But we're talking about the tippity top of the pyramid. Everyone else stays in place. So if you completely politicize the entire thing, you could probably see a lot larger of a turnover when a president actually leaves. So if you have a Republican and then now you have a Democrat, what are we talking about? We're talking about eliminating or removing over 1 million employees just because the political ideology of the country has shifted for a few years. So talking about politics, let's look at the federal workforce. Where do they lean? What do they identify as? Well, we can look at the political contributions that federal employees made last year. You'll see 72% of donations went to Democrats, 24% went to Republicans. The top agency for Democratic candidates was the VA, and the top for the Republicans was the Department of Defense. Keep in mind that these are actual people within the agencies. This is not the agency making a donation. They don't do that. These are the people. Now, these agencies, both the VA and the DoD, right now, even though we're currently under a hiring freeze, they're hiring over 1,000 people. And they're still hosting virtual hiring events so you can get to meet HR representatives and in some cases hiring managers. If you want me to send you a list of virtual hiring events that are happening every week, sign up to the free newsletter down below. So how does this policy and career label actually work in practice? Well, right now agencies are looking at people that might draft regulations, manage projects, handle grants, or even negotiate collective bargaining agreements. So this is really going to push the boundaries of what's considered a policy influencing position. And it's not just about policy change, it's a legal battleground. The National Treasury Employees Union, they already launched a lawsuit against the order. They're claiming it's illegal to change a career position into a political position. No big surprise here, and we're going to see more lawsuits that follow. Prior to this, the Biden administration had set protections in place. President Biden signed an executive order rescinding Trump's Schedule F policy, calling it an obstacle. Bottom line, we're likely to see a prolonged legal battle happening within the courts. Now, essentially, this is the latest attack on federal workers. It seems like this entire workforce, the federal workforce, is being painted as an enemy. It is the target. The efforts from the Trump administration, really, your first one was return to office. And I say that not because I have something against people working in the office, but you have federal employees that sign job offers with that guarantee, with that promise. So you're breaking your contract, you're breaking your word when you're telling somebody it's okay for you to be 100% remote, but now it is not okay. Number two, the revival of Schedule F. So this is going to have a lot of people nervous. It's going to have huge implications on when it's fully rolled out and who's actually going to be targeted with that. Then you have the push to get people to resign with the most recent deferred resignation program. The way that is worded, it is strongly worded. And not only from the OPM side, they also made the acting secretaries within the federal agencies, they've also sent letters that is pretty much a copy and paste. So you have the president saying it for one, you have OPM pushing it out, which is really Elon Musk and some of his top employees that he trusts within that agency now. So you have that happening. And then now you have agency heads across the government. They're reiterating, they're emphasizing this letter. People are being reminded, they're being pressured is the best word I can think of for it. They're being pressured to accept it, to consider it, to take it. So federal employees across the country, they've been reacting, initially it was fear, it was anxiety. Now it's probably a little bit more of anger, of resolute. They actually want to stay and fight the good fight. There's been a surge in union activity. As you can imagine, people are coming together more. And these policies are not just about reshaping careers, they're about reshaping lives. So looking ahead, we're going to have agencies rushing to meet these deadlines. They're given 90 days to create a list of positions to be converted, and then another 120 days to finalize their review. And after that, Trump is expected to issue another executive order to officially transfer these positions. So this will be happening this year in 2025. One of the main reasons that people even consider getting a federal government job is for the stability and the security. And when you're looking at stability, I'm talking about if a recession comes in, right? A recession comes in, economic uncertainty, their job will weather it. They can provide for their family. It is a solid middle-class job. And also, I mean, when I say stability, I mean when you have a supervisor that comes in and your personalities do not align, and there's friction between you and somebody else, they cannot just snap their fingers and fire you. That has been the pull. That has been the draw. That combined with the pension. Those two things are the main things. It's not the salary. It's not higher pay. Because if you have the right skill set, if you're in the IT field, cybersecurity, if you're in the medical field, if you're in the legal field, the chances are you can get a lot higher salary in the private sector. But in the private sector, what you're doing, you're still probably going to be a cog in a machine, but that machine's intent is to generate profits. And it's not necessarily to serve the American public. So whether it was for a civil service calling that brought you into the federal workforce, or the benefits of stability, security, and a pension. That part of it right now is being threatened. It's being threatened like probably nothing we've ever seen in recent history. I know certainly not since I've been alive. So this is an unprecedented effort to dramatically reduce and to demoralize federal employees to the point where they want to escape and they want to leave the public sector. But if you find yourself still in the position where you're interested in getting a federal government job, there's over 5,000 jobs open to the public just about every day if you want to apply to those jobs. These jobs are exempt from the hiring freeze. If you want to apply to those jobs, you should know the process. It's a lengthy process. It's kind of convoluted. But from the time you set up a usajobs.gov account to the time you accept your final job offer, it's like a dozen steps. If you're interested to know more about that, I want you to check this video out next. If you need a federal resume example, check out the links down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.